We are live already.
Yeah. Good afternoon. There's some professional. You are all welcome once again to this program this uh, afternoon. Before we go further, shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this great privilege you are giving unto us. We thank you for the opportunity to see another beautiful day. We thank you for everything you have been doing for us on this platform in our professional journey and our various endeavors. To you alone be all the glory in the name of Jesus. Father, as we come today on this platform again, we ask, oh Lord, that you take preeminence in the name of Jesus. Let your presence be thick. Let your mighty hand rest upon everyone in the name of Jesus. For every of our discussant, Father, grace to carry on. Give unto them in the name of Jesus. Let this impact us and impact our lives in the name of Jesus. Thank you, blessed Redeemer, for in Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we continue on our program today. I'm so excited to welcome you all to this insightful edition of the free knowledge sharing series, FKSS, proudly brought to you by the Administrative Hub, which promise where we remain committed to learning, unlearning, relearning, and networking. Today's discussion is a very lively one and addresses a topic that has become one of the most talked about issues in today's world of work, which is also both timely and impactful. The topic is workplace toxicity, perception, reality, and the responsibility we all share. The expression toxic workplace is increasingly used to describe everything from poor leadership and bullying to heavy workload. We all understand that difficult colleagues sometimes may be part of it, performance expectation and organizational change. But an important question remains: are all unpleasant workplace experience truly toxic? Are they? Or do we at times blur the line between genuine toxicity and the normal reality and expectations of professional life? These are the questions. How do different generations define workplace toxicity? What one generation consider resilience, another may see it as mere passive insensitivity. Another form, what some view as accountability, other may experience as intimidation. Then where do we draw the line? So in this special discussion, we bring together distinguished professionals from different generations and background to share their perspective, challenge assumption, and explore practical ways to foster healthier, more respectful, and more productive workplace. Whether you are an employer, a leader, a manager, an HR professional, an administrator, an entrepreneur, or employer, this conversation promises value insight that can help us all contribute to workplace where people flourish and organization thrive. As we always encourage you to participate and invite others to join us in this all-important, remarkable discourse being brought to you today. Now let's get ready as we explore the topic: workplace toxicity, perception, reality, and responsibility we share. It is on this note I want to give us clue on what we do on this platform. But because of our time, we won't be able to read most of our announcements, or most of them will be displayed on the screen. I want you to sit back, draw your table and your pen as we continue in this journey. It is on this note I welcome the conveyor, Princess Fola Funke Oyeloye. for our opening remark.
Sorry, I was muted before now. So sorry about that. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I think that is where I'm going to start from. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited because of the topic that we'll be looking at today, workplace toxicity. Let me start by saying that I want to really appreciate Dr. Mercy Lyons, who is also a member of the think tank of the Administrators Hub, because she was the one, while we were thinking of the topic to discuss this month, she was the one that actually came up with it and said, why not? Let us look at workplace toxicity. And at the mention of it, it occurred to me that truly in recent times, that has been a thoroughly debated issue, in the workplace. And so I want to appreciate you. And, just like Joseph, when he interpreted the dream for Pharaoh, Pharaoh said, who else will take up this assignment if not you? And so we said, even though it's going to be a discussion panel, she's going to be on the discussion panel. I want to deeply appreciate you for all that you do as a member of the think tank. And I also want to appreciate everyone that is here today across different generations. Dr. Femi Awoyomi, Mr. Oluwajomiloju Tuki, Dr. Yitemi Fashanu Adegboye, and our able moderator, Mr. Abayomi Victor Adisa. And also this afternoon, I want to say a very big thank you to the host of participants on our YouTube channel that will be watching this event today and those that will be watching afterwards. This is the Administrators Hub. And here we just drive making knowledge common through our free knowledge sharing series. It's a monthly event and it holds every month except for the month of May and then the month of December when we shut down and we shut down and we are on break. Like I said, all we do here is making knowledge common, pushing out knowledge for nothing. And I want to deeply appreciate everyone that has been a part of this since inception. We've been around for almost 3 years, and we have held about 34 to 36 free knowledge sharing series. I want to deeply appreciate all the persons who have been involved to date because they are just persons who come to do it, pouring out their heart and their knowledge to the team of participants and participants on the program. It's on this note that I want to welcome us again to the free knowledge sharing series of the Administrators Hub. Just like the moderator has told us, I want us to sit back. I want us to get ready. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. And I promise you, we won't take too much of your time. Thank you and welcome to our August 2026 free knowledge sharing series on the Administrators Hub. Thank you. Over to you, the moderator. Over to you, moderator. I think you're muted.
I'm very sorry. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Quickly we go through the introduction of discussant, as we have said earlier. We quickly go through them and read out few things about them before we go further to our discussion section, where question will be passed to every of our discussants on some questions that we have worked on will be put to them. But before that, I want to introduce them so that our audience across the world will know who they are and what they stand for. Firstly, we want to start with Dr. Femi Awoyomi, a visionary leader in business, finance, and most importantly, in youth empowerment. As the visionary founder of Leaders for Leaders in African Young Brains, Dr. Awoyomi has dedicated himself to nurturing future leaders, empowering young minds. His initiative focuses on cultivating leadership skill, promoting education, and catalyzing economic development through Africa. Through this platform, he has inspired countless young individuals to aspire to greatness and contribute meaningfully to their communities. It is on this note I introduce to you all Dr. Femi Awoyemi. With a round of applause, shall we welcome you on this platform? You are welcome, sir. And the second person I will be bringing on board here is Dr. Eyitemi Fashanu Adegboye. She's an energy economist, sustainability and reliance expert, as well as a research and strategic professional. Eyitemi holds a PhD in economics from Covenant University, specializing in energy economics, and an MSc in energy economics from University of Ibadan. Her work sits at the intersection of economic policy, energy transition, sustainability, resilience, market, and development, with a particular focus on translating complex economic and policy dynamics into actionable insight for businesses, government, and development organizations. It's on this note I welcome also Dr. Eyitemi Fashanu Adegboye on board. And also, I have here with me Mr. Oluwajomiloju Toki. Is a product communications and human resource professional with experience spanning digital financial services, brand strategy, corporate communication, and people operations. He currently serves as a product officer in EcoBank Nigerian Payment Service Group, where he supports the seamless execution of transactions across the bank's digital platform. And an alumnus of Pan Atlantic University, he graduated as class president of the 2024 Mass Communication Set, where he demonstrated leadership, initiative, and strong passion for media and storytelling. Join me welcome Mr. Oluwajomiloju Toki to this platform. And lastly, on this introduction list is our very own Dr. Mercy Leon. Dr. Mercy Leon is a seasoned university administrator and currently serves as the Pioneer Registrar and Senior Vice President, Management Services at Eastside University of Science and Technology, where she drives institutional governance and operations. Her expertise span academic administration, policy development, and strategic institutional growth. She is the founder of Anike Leons, a brand that engages the tool of mentorship, innovation, and bold thinking to help shape the future. Join me welcome our very own Dr. Mercy Leon to this program today. Shall we join out together as we welcome them on board? You are all welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome, ma and sir. Now, without wasting much of our time, we quickly dive into the real deal for today. And here we understand that workplace environment shape not only productivity, but also well-being, relationship, and organizational culture. Understanding toxicity, whether perceived or real, is crucial in this our day-to-day running in every of our organization. It's very crucial. And to be more inclusive, that is why this topic is coming at this time. So I will start with Dr. Mercy Leon with this question. What does workplace toxicity mean to you and your generation? And why do you think that the toxic topic has become increasingly popular in recent years? Over to you, Dr. Ma.
All right. Thank you very much, the moderator. Please kindly confirm that you can hear me. I want to be sure I'm being heard.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear, ma.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I want to first use this opportunity to appreciate the convener of the Administrators Hub, for giving me the opportunity to be on this panel today. Thank you so much, Ma. I appreciate you, Ma. And thank you for the warm welcome, Mr. Moderator. Going straight to the question, for me, workplace toxicity refers to patterns of behavior, communication, or organizational practices that consistently create a harmful, stressful, and disrespectful or unhealthy workplace. I'll say that again. It creates something that creates a harmful, stressful, disrespectful, or unhealthy work environment. So workplace toxicity is something that is not something that just happens once in a while. It gradually becomes a pattern of behavior, whether done by the organization itself, maybe the system, or by individuals in the organization, or by the culture of the organization, that always that had become something that becomes harmful or stressful to the people who are the recipients of whatever this pattern of behavior has become. And why is it a topic to note? I think it's we're in this generation, the Gen Z generation, and I love them so much because these are the generation who will ask you why. They will ask you why. And from our own generation, I can't even remember what my generation is because I work more with Gen Zs. They tell you something and you just do it. You're not asking. They tell you jump, you say how high. But Gen Zs, you tell them jump. They want to tell you, why do I need to jump? What is the reason why I'm jumping? What is this jumping going to do for me? Is it going to contribute to the productivity of this place? Do I need to jump? Are there other ways to do it rather than jumping? They ask questions. So that's why some of these things that have been termed, I know by the time we go deep into the topic, we'll find out some things that have been that have become like a norm, that have been culturalized, but they are toxic. The reason why it's coming up is because these young ones are asking, why should it be this way? Must it be this way? Are there no better way? So they are questioning some of the things that we in our generation have assumed to be normal. We have taken it, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but let me just stop there so that I don't get ahead of myself. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma. That same question take me to Mr. Oluwajumiloju Toki. I don't know whether you get that question I asked Dr. Messi.
Yes, I did. Good afternoon,
Okay.
everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so first off, thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure
Yes,
on
sir.
my
You're
part.
welcome.
And okay, so even before I dive in, I mean, a quick Google search on what toxicity is, it's going to tell you, it describes it as anything that is unpleasant, hideous, and whatnot. But personally, or even as someone representing the Gen Z bracket, I don't think that definition does enough justice to it. So what I believe toxicity is, especially in the workplace, we can describe it as things, behaviors, activities that negatively impact our psychological safety, and they treat us human beings as a means to an end and not as living beings with dignity, looking at us as tools for maximizing profit and productivity at the detriment of our core stance of our humanity. So I think that's what I believe. And why I think mental health, the whole topic of mental health is coming up in recent times. To be honest, it's not particularly a new topic, but I feel like the reason why more light is being shed on it is because of we have an increase in the cases of suicide almost every day. Like literally this morning or yesterday, there was news about this professor in Oxford. He committed suicide, and this was simply because of I think his name is Jason Ade. He was the first black professor in Oxford, and some people were challenging the credibility of his work, things like that. To cut the long story short, he was found dead in yesterday. And that brings me back to why mental health is important, because as time passes, the figures unfortunately aren't reducing. Literally each year, the amount of suicides due to depression and due to behaviors that came about as a result of neglecting mental health, those figures keep rising. So I feel like it's only right that as a people and as a community, we come together to tackle this thing as one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Dr. Eitemi, I don't know whether you get my question.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. I don't know
Can
whether
you
you
hear
get
me?
my question. Okay.
So you asked what workplace toxicity means to me and to my
Yeah.
generation, if I get you
Yes.
correctly.
Yes. And why do you think that the
Okay.
topic has become increasingly popular in recent time?
Hmm. Please, first of all, forgive my voice.
We
It's a
understand.
bit of a cold. That's why I sound this way. I just need you to
Okay.
confirm that you can hear me clearly.
We are hearing.
So, workplace toxicity presupposes that there is a poisonous infection in the system. There's a poison. The word
Yes.
toxicity is from the root word toxic. And something that is toxic is poisonous, it's harmful, um, it can cause a level of damage. Damage can be extreme, it could be mild, but it does toxins don't
Yes.
leave anything that they touch the same. They contaminate. Toxins are out to contaminate. And so, to me, workplace toxicity is any kind of behavior or pattern or culture that makes the entire workplace and work culture unbearable, or makes it difficult to repeat processes that should be beneficial to everybody and to the organization at large. And it really just stands in the way of the sustainability of the organization or the long life of the organization. That's the way I look at it. Anything that is going to poison the minds of the workers in the organization against each other and against the vision of the work that they've set out to do. That's the way I look at it. And I think it's a very important conversation now because you'd find that it's become a buzzword. Oh, my workplace is toxic. I think there's no, almost every day I see on social media, I hear from someone I know that, oh, I work in a toxic office, I work in a toxic organization. And sometimes I think they are exaggerating. I
Mm.
think I think they could have said something else. Like
Mm.
just tell us that you don't have thick skin. It's fine.
Yes.
We will not beat you up. Right?
Mm.
Sometimes they are being extreme and they are labeling the situation wrongly. For
Mm.
many times they are labeling the situation wrongly. And
Mm.
there are sometimes that they are right. Because toxicity is extreme, to be
Mm.
honest, is
Mm.
extreme. I find that the same people that complain that they are working in a toxic place, when they become the ones in charge, when they get
Mm.
into a position of leadership and
You keep
authority,
quiet.
then the story
Mm.
changes. It's no longer toxic.
Yes. Yes. Mm.
So I'm sure as the conversation moves along, I don't want to take up too much time since
Mm.
we are just
Okay.
giving definitions and setting the
Mm.
contexts in
Yes.
place.
Yes.
I'll just
Yes.
leave it here to say that it is anything, workplace toxicity will be anything that is poisoning the hearts of people that are driving division against division and against each other. I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your response to this question. I'll be going the direction of Dr. Aoyomi, sir, regarding this. I don't know whether you get the question I asked.
Can you repeat the question again? Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. I say, what does work workplace toxicity means to you and your generation? And why do you think that the topic has become increasingly popular in these recent times?
Thank you very much. I'm
Yes, sir.
very, very grateful.
Yes, sir.
I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here.
Okay,
It's a
sir.
great
Thank you, sir.
privilege.
You're welcome,
And
sir.
thank also for the profile you read about Dr. Femi Awoyomi. I wonder whether it's me. And I also thank those that are on this call from different parts of Nigeria, Africa, and outside. And now, concerning the question you put across to me, my own personal perspective is that when we talk of toxic individual or toxic organization, we are looking at where majority of people believe that when you work there, you are going to experience chronic stress. We are going to experience burnouts, where there is no confidence, where there is no self-worth, where individuals, employees, within a short period of joining the organization gets disengaged, and um, probably where young professional will not want to go for employment. So it's very costly, it's very expensive for organization. From the perspective of the organization also, to look at the toxic uh, staff environment as where they always have high turnover, where there's constant falling productivity, many people not actually giving their best, and where they're also having reputational damage and erosion between the staff and the leaders. Things are not just perfect. So for my own generation, there could be some little differences because all what I've said now, there are some that are not true, there are some that are true. I mean, in terms of the contribution by the organization itself, rather than the people that gather together and they were not focused on what should be. But I believe from what I've said, we can pick out that toxicity is abnormal environment where no one wants to put in the best. You are just looking for way out and not actually helping the organization, not helping the staff in general. I hope I've been able to put it in a practical way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. That will lead us to another question, circle around perspective of workplace toxicity. I will throw this question to you, sir, Dr. Awoyemi. Will you say that your generation upbringing has in any wise shape your expectation of employers or employee and
Thank,
supervisor or subordinate, and what is sometimes termed workplace toxicity?
thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
For me, I would say my background actually is key because when I look back at where I'd worked, how I had worked, and what I was able to achieve, and I also say that what I'm doing currently, what I'm achieving, and what I want to do also, what I aspire, where I aspire to be. I will tell you that, truly speaking, my background has actually been a major contributor, and even for those people we are looking at today that probably they are not um, they are not putting in their very best, or probably what they supposed not to classify as a toxic is what they are classifying. It could also be because of their background. Now, for my own background, let's start from the home. A home where you can easily be corrected, you can be directed, you can be instructed. I grew up with my grandpa and grandma, and the truth is that they will tell you you cannot go to that house nearby without a genuine reason, of course. and you cannot take this from anyone, and you must respect, you must do things right. The name of the family, your own name, your reputation are all important to them. So you find out that you are focusing on the end result, and that has been my own way of looking at life generally. So from my first job to what I'm doing today, that has actually helped me. So when I get to an environment, the first thing I see is that what is this environment wants to achieve? This organization, this association, this team, what do we want to achieve? So my focus is on the achievement, my focus on the goal. Number two, I also, based on my own background, I also see that whosoever is the leader should be supported. And if I observe something that the leader is doing that I believe is wrong, I go to the leader one on one and explain this is what I had observed. And my thinking is that if we are handle this thing this way, it will lead to this result which you want to achieve, which our organization also want to achieve. And that has shaped my productivity, my navigating ability, my resilience ability, my achievement, and the type of a person that I am. And I've found out over the years that has made me to achieve more. That has made me to build relationship. That has made me to stand out. And you know, the truth is that when you talk of these toxic people, they will not like such people like me. You understand? Because
Mm.
you are not antagonistic, you are not trying to pull down them, you are not
Yes.
doing things the way majority wants you to do it. And
Mm.
then when it comes to people, when I see people gossiping, doing things that are toxic, I also talk to them based on the fact that my grandma, my lecturer, my mentors, they've already taught me, and that has shaped the way I see the issue we are discussing today. I hope, based on my own personal experience, those people that are listening to, or one or two people will say, okay, I think I will look at it in that direction, and lower the temperature. You know, the temperature when you classify your bosses, your environment, your other employee, you just classify people as toxic. It will lower the temperature. You can be able to achieve more. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Dr. Adiboye, Fashanu Adiboye, I don't know whether you got that question that was asked.
Please, I'd like for you to take it again, sir, if you don't mind.
Okay. The question goes thus: that will you say that your generation of bringing, has in any way shape your expectation of employee, supervisor, subordinate, and what it is sometimes term workplace toxicity?
Um, yes, to a very large extent, I would say that
Yes.
the way my generation was raised shows up in the way we show up at work.
Okay.
For example, the way I was raised in a home that was a bit flexible. And when I say flexible, I mean that when it came to decisions around, oh, what do you want to study in school? Oh, this dress we are going to buy for you, do you like it? Or you don't like it, we can pick something else. I had freedom of choice to an extent, so it was not lasciviously way. They were bounded freedoms. I know it sounds like a paradox, but just saying
Mm,
that there were things I had the
mm,
opportunity to choose without feeling like I was
mm.
upsetting my parents if I didn't like what they would have chosen instead.
Yes.
And so it developed a kind of self awareness and a level of self confidence because it meant to me that my parents trusted my judgment enough to make the right choices around a number of things. And then when it was really important, when it came to the really big decisions, then they would sit me down to say, oh, this is what we think you should do. And they made it make sense rather. So every time they gave their perspective on the major issues, I always deferred to them because I knew they wanted the best for me. And for them to insist on a decision this time around, then, oh, they know what they are saying. So I didn't
Mm,
argue with that. most of the time they left me to decide. And so taking that into the world of work, number one, it made me go into the world of work with an ownership mindset. And so even though I was not the owner of the business, I was not the one in charge, in fact, I didn't have any position at work yet, I just approached every task like they've given me the freedom to decide how best this task should be done, and I'll give you my best. I will do it the way I think it should be done. So I've showed up like that consistently everywhere I have worked, including where I am at now. And every boss I've had has always noted that sense of ownership as an asset that they think I have. It shows up all the time. It's just me. And I can tie that to my upbringing. It also shows up in the way I take feedback because I would always go to my parents to say, oh, I did this thing. And I want to hear what you think. Do you think I did it well? Do you think I could have done it better? I didn't know this was a big deal. I didn't know going back to ask for feedback was important. I was just doing it as a child or a young person growing up. I didn't know that in the workplace it is a really good thing to be able to go to your boss or your lead to say, this thing I did, what do you think? What should I change? Do you like it? Do you think this meets the client's specifications? I realize that not everybody likes to take feedback. Some people, once you correct them once, they will fight you. They will fight
Right.
you. They will not. They will not take you like it's you. They start to
Yeah.
avoid you. But I just
Yes.
realized that I'm not that kind of person, and I can
They
tie
will
it
say you are
to how
confrontational.
I was brought up. Yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
To be honest, there was also an extreme to this feedback thing that I
Mm.
had to work on because I
Yeah.
realized that there was a point where I would wait until I get feedback before I make any next move. So the project can just be stalling and
Mm.
I'm not touching it because, oh, I've not gotten feedback from my boss or my supervisor. So it took feedback from my leaders again to say, look, I understand that you want to hear from me before you proceed. But I believe in your ability to look at what you have done and decide what could have been done better, what could have changed. Don't be afraid to change something if you think it should be changed, and then justify to me why you changed it. If I agree with your position, I will run with it. If I don't, I reserve the right to not agree, and that should be fine. So
Mm.
I deliberately and intentionally tie those to my upbringing. I doubt that I would have been showing up at work this way if I wasn't raised like this. So that would be my um, position on the question that you just asked. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your response to this. That shows that our generation upbringing also affect uh, uh, our end result wherever we find ourselves in our workplace. Thank you very much. Um, the next question will be going to Dr. Messi. Uh, the next question goes to us that says, do you think that certain legitimate management practices have been mislabeled in the workplace as toxic in recent years? If yes, can you mention some?
Okay. Thank you very much. Please confirm that you can still hear me because network is
Yes, yes, ma'am.
here and
Yes, ma'am.
there around here.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
So yes, the truth is in the workplace, there are some things, if I get the question correctly, there are some things
Yes, ma'am.
that, or activities that are taking place that are toxic, but because we are used to it,
To them, yes.
we just let it slide. We just adapt to it.
We
And
take
there are
them as
some that
normal.
are not.
We
There are
absorb
some
them.
that are not toxic, yes.
Mm,
And
mm,
just because we can, like the other speaker said, just because we don't have the thick skin, then we just label it as toxic. And some of these things are management practices or organizational cultures that the culture doesn't just jump on us. It's people. It's the people that are in the organization that form the culture of the organization. Yes, and so some of the activities that take place sometimes, I'll give an example, and many of these things, like I would like to link it to the initial question you asked, are linked to the background or cultural backgrounds that we had, some of us had, from our various family or worship centers or belief systems. So it has formed some things in us. I'll give an example of managers or management or bosses who, because they are from a particular culture, would consider some set of people who do or who courtesy or who greet in a certain manner as respectful, and some who don't as disrespectful. And one thing I've always imbibed is the beauty of diversity, and that has helped me even as a leader, because I always understand that we don't have the same background. So just because this person comes to you and cuts seed in a particular manner, and then suddenly all your attention, your everything, your decision is around just this person, and then the other people, you just term them as, oh, these ones, they don't have respect. And maybe their own kind of background also. Some of these things are not things that are organizational culture in quotes, but things that individuals in the organization has brought to bear. And then because others too want to play the office politics, they may want to just because let me just do it this way. Let me compliment the color of her shoes. Let me help her carry her bag. Let me help her, let me help him do this stuff so that I can also find favor. Some of these things are also things that happen, in the workplace. And also some of our leaders, if I may mention, many of the things we do also that sometimes have become a practice are actually responses to trauma. Many, I don't know whether it has been proven, but I have heard it from different conversations that many Africans are traumatized, and many of our responses are responses to trauma. You grew up in a house where they're always shouting. So when you get to work, you are shouting at people, not because you wanted to, but that is the only way you knew how to be spoken to. Because maybe your parents found out that until they raise their voice, they hear word. So you believe that until you raise your voice, and those things are they are not normal. You can say the same thing without raising your voice. Of course, there are instances where some people push you to the wall and you may have to, but it shouldn't be a pattern where they say, that person, she will shout at you, and they label you as such. And before you know it, it becomes something that is now frequent, that people just know that in this place, they shout at us so that we can work. So some of the experiences of behavior are actually responses to trauma. Sometimes at a point in my life, my daughter called me one day and said, "Mommy, why are you shouting?" Gen Z, they're bold. They like to ask why. Why are you shouting? You can say this same thing without raising your. I learned that from her, from my daughter. They can tell me this same thing and I will understand. And I'll be remorseful and I will apologize. You don't have to. That is stressful. It's stressful. You're stressing yourself. Your BP is important too, But some of us, even to the point where the way our supervisors in the academia, you spend 15 years to do your PhD, and then you believe that your supervisee must also spend 20 years just so that you can show that this thing is not easy. It's trauma response. It's also some of the things that are formed some management experience or leadership experiences around us that at a point, you just begin to see it as normal. just begin to take it in as normal. And of course, some people are scared. Some people are out of fear. They become leaders and they're not sure of what to do. They don't know whether people accept them. So they paint this facade around themselves to make them look like a boss. So they are bossing everyone just because they want to feel that position. They want to feel it's self-esteem issues. Many of these also happen, and these are actually, formed some things that happen in the organization where, because there is no organization without the people. So when we say management practices, we are saying what are the individual managers, what are they doing? How are they responding? How are they reacting? How are they handling issues? Are they making the place comfortable or not comfortable, at least from the top to the bottom model? When we look at that, I know, of course, there are when we also have toxicity when people are at the same level or even people below you. There are so many toxic subordinates. There's so many toxic subordinates. Sometimes we always attribute toxicity to the people at the top. Sometimes the people at the bottom are also toxic. Just because maybe the owner of the company, just because somebody recommended and is a big person that they can't say no to, and then you begin to respond in a very funny way or do things and that make other people uncomfortable, that make the workplace unbearable, that when people wake up in the morning, they are scared to go to work, they are unhappy to go to work, and all of these things. So there are several management practices like that may happen in the workplace, but I like us to, I didn't want to pin in on just a particular example, but I wanted to stress on the fact that it is the individuals that make up the management, their various characteristics and their behavior, their response to trauma, their cultural background, can form how these management practices or experience come to bear in the organization. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your insightful response to that question. My next question goes to Mr. Oluwajomiloju. That question is a little bit going in line with what I had Dr. Messi, but majorly she has also captured that area. But I want to hear from you with faces and name to most of those things. So this question is, do you think that there are toxic traditional workplace practices that have been normalized from what Dr. Messi just said now? And if yes, can you mention some of them?
Okay, yes. So I believe there are actually still quite a couple that it's quite unfortunate, but we normalize it in our day-to-day work life. And in addition to the ones that Dr. Messi said, I think the one that actually takes the gold medal has to be overworking. Basically, the thing of being available 24/7. Today, because of especially ever since COVID and work became more digital, your work is always with you, because I mean your phone is always with you, or your phone is always in your pocket. So even when you're on the go, when you're on your bed, more or less, you still have access to work and you are able to work. And it's created a problem because some employers now use it as an opportunity to not only keep you working for absurd hours, but it's also kind of encouraged this mindset of, oh, the most valuable set of workers we have, or the most hardworking people that exist in the workplace today they are the ones that if you call them at 1 a.m., oh, I need this report, they are able to deliver it to you at 1 or 2 a.m. Truth be told, that's a problem, because I mean, where do we cut the line between being hardworking and being reliable, and then not having work-life balance? That becomes a problem. But even aside from being overworking yourself and even being too available, I think a chronic problem, again, another one, has to be maybe the culture of gossip that kind of occurs in workplaces. To an extent, too, they have the tendency to destroy relationships amongst people. The thing about gossip is 95% of the time it's never good news. I mean, what you're saying about there's a reason why you are talking negatively about somebody behind their back. And sometimes when they hear these things, it's kind of creates a tense atmosphere. And ultimately, it's also kind of contributes to toxicity. I know that, yes, sometimes co-workers will just brand it as, oh, it's gist. But to be honest, that gist can be starting fires, which obviously are toxic in nature. So I think for me, those two hold both the gold and silver medals for toxicity in the modern workplace. Thank you.
Oh, I don't think I can hear Mr. Victor. Am I the only one? I can't hear you at all.
Hello.
Yes, I can
I
hear you now,
apologize
sir.
for that. Okay, I apologize for that. Thank you, Mr. Toki. Before we go further in this, in the question, another set of questions, I want to encourage everyone watching all across the world to reflect on this. How do we contribute consciously or unconsciously to the culture of our workplace? I want us to really be reflecting on that going further, so that towards the end of the whole thing, you'll be able to ask such questions and also contribute to this discourse. The next question that I have on my table here is, where should we draw the line between workplace pressure that build resilience and workplace toxicity, a culture that negatively impacts on our employees' psychological safety and well-being? That question goes to Dr. Awoyomi.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Grateful. I hope
Yes,
you
sir.
can see me and you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me very well?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. If I can answer that question, the way I would love us to look at it is to look at some ways organizations make people toxic, and then we also look at ways individuals who make organization toxic. I hope that will help us to answer that question, right? Can you
I'm with
hear
you,
me?
sir. I'm with you, sir. I'm with you, sir. Yes, sir.
Or probably I get your question again.
Yes, sir.
Can
I
I
said,
get your question?
where should we draw the line between workplace pressure that builds resilience and workplace toxicity, a culture that negatively impacts on an employee's psychological safety and well-being?
Okay, let me start by talking about 20 ways quickly, or let me pick some of them, or few ways by which organization can make people toxic, and
Sir,
that condition,
that will be under just 2 minutes, sir. Our time
no
is
problem.
fast spent. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you have chronic overload of what people you expect employee to do, definitely those employee may actually become toxic over time. Also, when you have unclear roles, what they're supposed to do, what you expect from them, then when some of your staff are very, very toxic, they've carried from where they are coming, they now carry into a new organization or your organization. Definitely it will have impact on the employee. And the resultant effect also is the behavior of those employees. And also when you have incentive that you only narrow for few people, and that is not across board. Another one is job insecurity. Then when you have poor onboarding process, HR system that actually is not helping the staff. It could also trigger a lot of things. So we look at it from the perspective of the organization, and then we also look at it from the perspective of individual. Those employees also, they have some skills that they're supposed to bring to the system. If you have people with poor communication skill, people that they have personal attitude that over the years has not been dealt with. They believe in gossip, they believe in rumor spreading, and also they don't even like accountability. They don't want it. They believe that just leave me, since you have told me this is what I'm supposed to do, even if I don't deliver over time, I will adjust at my own pace and at my own time. Then some people also they've been enjoying favoritism where they are coming from. So unequal opportunity could actually become a big issue that must be dealt with. And let me say also a micromanagement attitude of some individual. They micromanage staff, and that is what they do. And all these things will contribute to the question you have asked now. And I believe if those things are addressed, then the environment will be more friendly, and then we'll be able to achieve long-term goals of what the organization is focusing on. I don't know whether I'll be able to answer your question. Can you hear me?
I'm with you.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry, it's my network here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. You have done justice to that question. Thank you very much, sir. My next question, based on this very particular area where I asked Dr. Awuyemi, we go to Mr. Oluwajomiloju. Where should we draw the line between constructive criticism and bullying?
Okay, thank you very much. So I think a place to draw the line is there should be a balance. Let me just put it that way. So the thing about constructive criticism, it's done, and the main purpose is it's supposed to correct somebody in a manner that is firm, but at the same time it's empathetic and it doesn't demean the person. But the issue with bullying, bullying to an extent looks like we might be doing the same thing, but it achieves a totally the aim at the end, the goal that's achieved at the end is totally wrong. The issue with bullying is that not only do you demean somebody, you make them feel less of themselves. I mean, the zeal to do the work is not there. That the literal implication in a scenario like that is that productivity uses, even aside from that, the courses organizations in the country, they're having to do recruitment all year round. And a part of it is because a good percentage of them haven't been able to strike that balance. Bosses believe that by shouting at the people below them, the subordinates, they are criticizing them constructively. The issue is that no, that's not what's happening. They've just made their subordinates feel less like human beings, are more like, oh, I don't know how to do anything perfectly. That kind of thing. Make them feel less of themselves. You put them in a position where before they make any step or any move, they're having to think twice, which on its own isn't good enough. So I think that by having to strike a balance and knowing when to use various leadership tactics, I think that will be able to help. Thank you.
Thank you for your insightful response. Then where do we draw the line? That is Dr. Fashanu Adeboye on accountability and intimidation. Accountability and intimidation. Just like what Dr. Awoyemi said, where do we draw the line?
Okay, so I have a couple of steps I've used practically in assessing how we draw the line or where we draw the line. First step is, what is your career projection? What's your goal? Where are you really going? Where do you want to end up? What's your career map or journey? Please, can you confirm that you can hear me, sir? I'm not very sure
Yeah,
that
loud and clear.
you can
Loud
hear
and clear.
me. Can you?
Yes. 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 Loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, what's your career goal? That's step one. What's your career identity? What are you working towards? Step two is this place I am now, where um, this workplace, let's just leave it at that. Can you help me get there? Why am I even here? Does it align with that career plan I have? Because sometimes we attribute toxicity to a situation where our incentives are not aligned with the incentives of the organization that we have found ourselves. And so, if there's no vision alignment, and you probably only started working there for the money or for some other reason other than an alignment of vision and incentives, then it's possible that whatever happens in the workplace will be toxic, in your opinion. You could be right, you could be wrong, but I'm just saying step one is let's know your career plan. Step two, this place that we are now, does it align with where I am going? The third thing I will look at is this toxic behavior. Who is it coming from? We need to diagnose. Has to be a diagnosis. Where is the toxic behavior coming from? Is it coming from me? Is it coming from someone that is on the same level with me? Is it coming from a subordinate? Is it coming from my boss? Diagnosing the source of the toxicity is very important because it helps us determine what step four should be. Because if it is somebody that is a subordinate, then you could really just have a conversation. You could call this person out, have a meeting. It's just easier to have that conversation with a subordinate. If the person is a colleague, you can also have a conversation, but you need to be very careful because the person is on the same level as you. So you don't call the person out in front of their own subordinates. That's very important. You can't do that. If not, you are complicating issues. So you speak to them in private, calmly, gently, present facts, present data. Oh, I think there's a way you've behaved in recent times that I don't think is proper. This is why I don't think it is proper. This is how I think your behavior is negatively impacting on our output and our productivity. And I wanted to call your attention to it. If depending on how that conversation goes, they might listen and say, oh, I didn't see it that way. I'm so sorry. I'll do something about it. Other them can blow it and misinterpret you, and it becomes a big issue. At that point, you might want to escalate to a higher up to settle it at that level, or HR, or whatever the company culture and guidelines put in place for settling such issues. If it's a senior colleague or a boss, it becomes a bit tricky because the nature of the senior colleague or boss will also determine how you can address it. In my case, there was a time early last year where I had an issue with my boss, like the MD, the CEO, because I work directly with him. I report to him directly. And I really felt that the environment was suffocating to me at that point. This was December 2024 into January 2025. It had been weeks of torture, in my opinion. Nothing I did was making sense. Nothing I did was right. Just had one thing or the other to complain about when it came to my work. And it was weird because when I started working with him, he always had high praises. He was always talking about how I was doing so well. So it was weird that there was such a sudden switch in his perception of my work because I was not putting in less effort than what I had been putting in from the beginning. And so when we entered into 2025, I told my husband, I said, look, you know what? I'm not doing a game. I'm going to write my resignation letter. I'm going to leave the copy for them. No. I was just
Mhm.
ranting. I told my dad the same thing as well. And then both of them said, you know what? We understand you are tired. You have every reason to be frustrated. But before you take this step, remember that before you took this job, you prayed about it and God directed you. So if God led you here, what if there's still work He has to do in your life in this place? So before you write that resignation letter, take a retreat, pray. Then when you come back from the retreat, let's decide what you do next. So my husband took me to redemption camp. He spent a few, I think it was a full day, and he just left me to pray. But he was somewhere around for moral support. But it was me and God. And coming out of that meeting, it became clear that the Lord wanted me to have a conversation with my boss. It was going to be difficult for me because I felt like not only is he the CEO, he's my daddy's age mate. How do I want to? How do I want to sit down with this man to tell him, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like how you're talking to me. I don't like this place is toxic. His generation is different from mine. He didn't even know he was quote and unquote behaving in that way that was making me uncomfortable and tired. So I first of all wrote a mail to him. In that mail, I documented all my thoughts um, as well as I could. I was not rude. I stated facts. I sent that mail. The reason I sent the mail, I felt that if I had gone to talk to him, I felt like if I had gone to speak with him directly first in person, my emotions could have gotten the better of me, and then I would not lay out my points logically, and then it would only go downhill from there. So I sent the mail first to precede me so that I would not miss out on any point I wanted to raise. I could stick to the script and not be emotional about what I wanted to say. And in that mail, I was very detailed. It was a very long mail. So I had already put all my data, all my facts in the mail. By the time we were having a physical conversation, there was a reference point. He apologized. By the time we had a physical conversation, he didn't know it had gotten that bad. He acknowledged where he was wrong. I acknowledged where I could do better. And then we quote and unquote put ourselves on probation that, okay, let's see what working together in the next 3 months would look like. If the working relationship has not improved in 3 months and you still want to go, no problem. But let's put so guardrails in place so that you have a better relationship with me going forward. And I also get the quality of work I want done. So I gave that example to emphasize that sometimes toxicity happens because incentives are not aligned. I was complaining that he was not talking to me nicely. He was upset that he was not getting the quality of work he wanted in that moment. He has his what's it called? His indicators. He has what he's looking out for. He has projections, and anybody that is not meeting up, we have to call you out. So it goes both ways. We're able to have that conversation, and now we have the best working relationship. I've even gotten promoted in this period of time because we're able to have that conversation. So just to say that toxic circumstances are reversible depending on how they are handled. If after taking the step to have a civil, data-driven conversation, nothing is changing, you reserve the right to leave. But you first of all need to be really objectively honest about the situation of things. Is it really toxic? Or is it that you've not yet explored all the possible options you can explore? Because we don't just jump into decisions to say, oh, we are leaving, or we just are fighting with everybody without first of all hearing from God how we should proceed. So that's from my practical experience, and that was why I gave the list I gave. I hope that answers the question, sir.
Thank you for your insightful response. Going further quickly before our time is fast spent, I want to quickly go to Dr. Messi regarding this particular question. Could what we term toxic leadership sometimes stem from organizational systems rather than individual personality? Where does the practical balance stand?
All right, thank you very much. Please kindly confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, ma, loud and clear.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, thank you.
I want you to quickly
What
just answer that question because our time is fast spent.
fast
Thank
spent?
you, ma.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
ma.
So, sometimes, of course, it could be a systemic toxicity model in place, where
Yes.
it is not the individual that is that is toxic. For
Yeah.
instance, you are expecting results, but you are not making the necessary resources available. Maybe the management team or the leaders are not in total control of how the resources is supposed to come to bear, but they know that they have to answer and they have to get a certain, know that everyone has KPIs. And then they begin to drive the people under them to be able to get the kind of results they are expected to get without providing necessary or adequate resources. So everyone is under pressure just because there is a result card or report card that needs to be submitted. So sometimes it is not the person. Sometimes it could be systemic. In cases where maybe you have a lecturer-student toxic relationship where there's just some cultures that there are demands that are placed on these people, and they don't know how else to do it. They don't know what else to do, and then their individual response comes as toxic. And the truth is, these things would have been corrected or wouldn't have happened if everything that is needed to be done, was done in the first place. If everything that requires, that the results required was provided by the system itself, if the process, the policies, the culture, if it was though provided or made available in the first place, these individuals wouldn't or may not have been that way. Some people are not as emotionally intelligent like others will be. Our emotional EQ is different from each other. EIs is different from each other. We don't handle issues the same way. Of course, we know we don't have the same kind of backgrounds. We don't have the same kind of experiences. So when things are not well done, that's why sometimes when this same set of people find themselves in other systems or other organizations where things are provided, you just discover that that is not who they are. They are able to get the results. They are not toxic in quotes. They are not toxic because they have all the resources. Resources, there's no perfect system. We need to always know that. But I always advocate for, you want a particular kind of result, make at least a reasonable resource required available. Let the policy be clear. Let the culture be set out. Let everything be put at least to a large extent. Then, if the individuals or individual leaders or subordinates now begin to behave in a toxic manner, then we know that it's an individual thing. But if you don't even have to, things are not even in place, everybody will just be behaving anyhow. That's just the truth. And even from my experience, that's the truth. If things are not put in place by the system itself, people will tend to behave anyhow, even though some people still try to just making excuses for them. Just because the system is toxic doesn't mean the individual should be. But sometimes that is the only response you can get from the frustration you are getting from the system, that now translates to how you begin to behave. Because when they now see you in other climes, in other spaces, you begin to discover that this is not this person. And immediately you go back into that particular system, then you change again. So even though it is not, we should not encourage it, but what I encourage is resources that are required to deliver things should be made available for the kind of results that you want to get. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Quickly again, there's a question I want to put to you before you draw the button. To what extent does gossips, negativity, resistance to change, poor professionalism, unfiltered social media interaction, and many more create toxic workplace environments? Mark, Dr. Messi.
All right. So all of these things that you have mentioned, to what extent? To a very large extent. My young brother had said something about gossiping. There's no way you want to say something bad about somebody that it will not affect the person. Even the issue of ageism is also there. I know just because the person is younger than you does not mean the person is not as smart as you. I think I've come to understand that young people are smart too. And sometimes just because they are older than you does not mean they are dumb people.
Yes.
They also have experiences. They may not know AI, they may not know technology the way you know it, but they know something, and different things, even issues around there's Maya Angelou says something. I was listening to a podcast recently, and I heard Maya Angelou say something. Say words are things. Be careful how you use them. The way we address each other, the way we talk about each other. Why will you want to age shame or body shame or in the workplace just because you think it's a joke? All these boundaries need to be set. These are things that can create toxicity. You want to lift something up and you tell somebody that if you are not fat now, maybe you'll be able to climb the chair. Let her not climb the chair, she'll break her chair. Why would you say that? Why would you tell somebody, the person says, I'm going for lunch. Will not even see where they chop the food. We'll see as you think. Why would you say that? I'm going for lunch. Hey, have a nice time. It's good enough. The way we talk, the way we interact. Because sometimes when we hear toxicity, we're just looking at all those people that are our bosses. Sometimes amongst ourselves, among the colleagues, what we do to ourselves. Like you said, gossiping. You heard something about somebody. Like anytime somebody comes to tell me about somebody, I tell the person, okay, just calm down. I call my PA, call the person that you are reporting, call. Oh, yeah, sit down. That thing that you told me, say it. If you can't say it in the presence of, if the person is not even good enough, if there's an issue, there are ways to undo that. There are ways to undo. But if you have become a boss or a colleague who take in all of these negative words, it will naturally, it's like spreading, it's like planting a wrong seed. You are planting the seed. There's no way you keep telling me that somebody is bad. Over a period of time, I will begin to believe it. There's no way you tell me that a company is bad. Over a period of time, I will begin to believe it and I'll begin to react to it, So some of these many more things that actually create toxicity in the system that we need to be careful about. There's also one thing I wanted to say. I don't know if you permit me just 1 minute, especially if we have bosses here. We're talking about working late or working long hours. That these people signed 8 to 5, but you will not get to the office until 2 p.m. And then it is at 4:30 that the spirit of work will envelop you. And then you now start working till 9 p.m. at night. And these subordinates have to be in the office before 8 o'clock the following day. And then your company has given you a car and a driver. You are not even planning to pick them to the bus stop. They will find their way home. And then you will come, and even your driver, you will delay the driver 1 more hour in your house until you let him go and expect him to report to your house 7:30 the following day. All these things they are not so nice things. If you know that the system, your system, you work better in the afternoons, then when you prioritize the things that your subordinates or your colleagues will need to handle for you, so that when they are done and gone by 5, you can continue longer hours and stay as long as you want, if you please. And some of these things are things that I've experienced, in the past, and sometimes it's painful how we now begin to, just because we don't want them to sack us. And that's another thing I like to say. The reason why some of us are staying where we are is because we are scared that we will lose our jobs. And we are taking all of these things in. And of course, that does not mean that everything that is done to you is toxic. Some things, sometimes you were wrong and they corrected you. Sometimes you pushed your boss to the wall and he had to also push back. but sometimes it is just simply toxic. And because you are scared of, I have children at home, what will they eat? You are scared. And then you begin to take, and then you are palpating every time you remember your work, all these things. And I honestly hope and pray that we will be able to find a balance around these things, for how long you can stay in a toxic environment, because it begins to affect your mental health too. No matter how strong or thick-skinned you may be, there is no way it doesn't, because after a while, it's either you begin to believe it and you become it, or you begin to just react negatively, and then it's affecting your health, it's affecting your productivity, and all of these things. So I am encouraging, as workers, as leaders, that we make the workplace bearable for all to stay. Thank you.
Welcome, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Our next question goes to Dr. Awuyemi. What practical responsibilities should every employee accept in building a healthier workplace?
Thank you very much.
Briefly, sir.
Good. I believe that it's not only to employee, to every actor within a system, within an environment. So within the next 2 minutes or thereabouts, I would say to leaders, you must first of all audit the system. I think Dr. Messi mentioned a lot about putting system in place. Let's focus on auditing the system where we are leading as leader, and not just an individual. You can observe an individual or individuals and then classify them as toxic people, or they can also be thinking of the organizer toxic. Let's audit the system. You'll be able to discover the patterns of complaint that are emerging. Then we also need to look at our feedback system. Look at the feedback system. As an employee, is there any feedback system? And respect those systems, use those systems, and then we should train managers to do the same. It's very, very important, because if we do that, we'll be able to lead very well. Then we also model the behavior expected of everyone else. As an employee, model the behavior that you expect if you are the CEO. Model the behavior if you are to be the subordinates. So there is also the need for us to build clear, safe reporting system or channels where people can report. We had a work Standard Chartered Bank. They have fantastic reporting system. They even have speak up policies where you can report whatever you are passing through. It's very, very important for us also as employee to distinguish between discomforts, what you feel personally, from something that everyone knows that we need to achieve this. So, and we should be willing to accept fair feedback. We should also be able to hold our colleague accountable. We should be able to talk to them. We should not weaponize toxic, the environment is toxic, and then we just classify that environment is toxic. But there is one thing also I want to add. Can you hear me?
I'm with you, sir.
There's one thing I want to also add. When you have individuals that are saying environment is toxic, or you have a leader that say environment is toxic, you have some group of people who are called bystanders. Bystanders, they just behave as if they are neutral. No, those patterns of people who actually want to, they are not here, they are not there, should also be dealt with, because it's very dangerous. So you need to speak. If you are just a neutral in the system, you are not seeing the system as toxic, you don't see anything wrong, please speak to your colleagues and make sure that you are having positive influence. Support formal reports rather than say, I'm staying out of it. Formal issues, things that will help the organization. Let focus on it. Refuse to laugh along with people. Just do as if there is nothing that is happening. Let's build together. When we build ourselves, and we build an organizational group, then we build family, then we build a nation, then we become better. So it is very, very important that we do that. And I believe that this conversation will help everyone that has been here and listening to us. And I believe in your own environment, in your own family, in your own organization, in your own group, you will be able to make positive impact, and then our environment will become better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. To you, Dr. Oluwajomiloju, also, your final word regarding this. The same question. What practical responsibility? Just one practical should every employer or employee accept in building a healthier workplace? Just one. Briefly, our time is fast spent, sir.
Okay. I would say respect. So when you have respect for everyone, whether they are above you or they are below you, it doesn't matter. You will treat them as humans, as people with dignity. And then this would also help with tackling the issue of toxicity in the workplace. That's what I think. Just having respect for everyone. The gate man could be your driver, could be the cleaner, could be the lady that comes to help you drop your bags, the money, anything. Just respect. Thank you. You've done well. And I think that would work. It goes a long way in canceling the problem of toxicity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I don't know whether Dr. Fashalu is still around. If she's not, Dr. Mercy, please, what's practical responsibility? Just one, because our time has gone. So
Practical responsibility to what? May I know?
they accept in building a healthier workplace.
Okay, of course, like every other speaker I've said, I love the fact that the last speaker mentioned the word respect. And I want to say this to all of us, whoever is listening right now and those who will listen later, that if what you want to do or say will make you feel uncomfortable, that is exactly how it will make other people feel. If you don't like it done to you, somehow permit me to use the word God. God has helped me to structure and understand myself, to say I don't want to do things to others that I know will hurt me. If I know it will hurt me, it means it will hurt the other people. And of course, if you're the one that you are responding to a form of trauma, if it made you feel bad when it was being done to you, just know that it will make others feel bad if you do the same to them. I've come to a conclusion in my life that every negative thing that have happened to me in my life, anyone that will pass through me will never, God giving me the opportunity, will never go through the same issues. I entered that pothole. I will try to fill it up if I can, so that the person coming behind me will not enter the pothole. That is like the resolve that I've made with myself. I want to make people's life better. Whatever I went through, anybody that will go through me should not go through it. So if it will hurt you, you know it will hurt you, then it will hurt others. So before you say something, try to say to yourself, what if this person is saying this to me? How will it make you feel? And may I say, if this toxicity, if hurting people makes you happy, if disrespecting people, making people's life difficult makes you happy, then you need help. You need help. Seek for help, because we are trying to encourage people, don't do this, but there are some people that they don't see anything wrong in what they are doing. Oh, I kept them late. Oh, I shouted at them, and so what? What happened? They don't see anything wrong with it. So if that is how you feel, you don't feel anything wrong about it, something is wrong with you, permit me to say. So you need to seek help. Maybe there's some trauma you're trying to suppress. Maybe there are some things you're trying to hide. Maybe there are some things you are scared, you are running away from, that you are not really open to. So please seek help from professionals. There are professionals who can help with that. I'm sure there are. Even if I know in Nigeria we are growing. We have professionals who can do that for you, that can help you because making life difficult for others, if it makes you happy, then you need help. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, ma. Thank you, ma. It is on this note I want to congratulate everyone that have been here. I want to appreciate everyone who have come here, and we'll be moving to within few minutes that we have, maybe 2 minutes or thereabout. question from our listener across the world? Question, question, question. We are waiting within the next 2 minutes before we draw the curtain. Question, 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 because our time is fast spent. Question, question. Question. Okay. Let me check. Let me check. Question for any of our speakers. Question. Okay. Question. Okay. In the absence of no question, I can see our network has logged out the conveyor of this program. The network has logged out. On this note, I want, as we conclude today's section, it is evident that workplace toxicity is not just an organizational issue. It is a shared human responsibility. As we have heard from all our discussants, is two-way thing. Sometimes we misinterpret what is happening, but when we sit down and take responsibility, we look deep and address the issue. So I want us to leave us with these words, that let us live here, not to only be informed, but to be well inspired to go all out there and correct whatever that might be a negative impact in our organizations. It is on this note, I want to thank every of our discussants that have come on board. I want to appreciate you on behalf of the Administrative Hub. I want to thank you for your valuable insight and your contribution to what you have done for us today. So I want to appreciate you for coming and for your contributions. And on this note, I will be handing you over to our convener, Princess Adefunke Folawiloye, for our closing remark. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you so much, the moderator for the day. I want to deeply appreciate everyone that has contributed richly, both online, both in the studio and outside of the studio, that is on our chat, the chat, the YouTube chat, to the discussion that we have had today. It's been intense, it's been eye-opening, it's been instructive, it's been informative. And I see all the time that each time we have the opportunity to get ourselves exposed to programs like this, it's an opportunity for us to improve on ourselves. No one is perfect. No one knows it all. No one is there yet. We are all work in progress. And I want to say that, riding from the things that we have had this evening, I want to encourage every one of us to go back to the drawing table. Where am I doing it right? Where am I not doing it right? What am I responding to? Or what am I reacting to? Why am I the way that I am? What are the things that I can do to improve on myself? I'm sure that there is really no human being that wants to accept, just like Dr. Lyon said, except that person needs help. There is no human being that wants to intentionally make life unbearable for other people. And so it means that if we are not intentional about making life unbearable for other people, then we need to take our actions, our responses, our reactions back to the drawing table and be intentional about ensuring that from our own end, there is no toxicity at all that is traced to the workplace. We've had a lot of rich, while I was off, I was trying to tell the moderator that we actually have some questions on the chat box, but unfortunately we may not be able to take them. But there are so many rich contributions that we have had today, from I think Evaristos Additional. I saw that. I feel, and then that answers the question from those who are asking what is the solution. He wrote here, I feel regular staff feedback, counseling, conflict resolution programs, and strong anti-bullying policies can help prevent and address workplace toxicity. And he ended up by saying, great conversation here. Kudos. I think I also read something. Okay. Could Genesis here? Yes, as human beings, we tend to adapt and rationalize things. That's why it's important to reflect often and try to understand what it is supposed to be and not what we have allowed. I want to, on this note, I cannot say it all. I just want to, on this note, okay, we need to identify unhealthy patterns, address them constructively, and promote healthier interactions. On this note, I want to again thank everybody that's been a part of this event this evening. I want to thank the discussant who have taken time of their very, very busy schedule to come and speak to us, to come and enlighten us, to come and share their views from the point of view of their diverse generations. Like we said, we have diverse generations. I mean, the four generations, yes, four generations still in the workplace. We have them here today, and they have spoken extensively, looking at it from their background, how their background has influenced who they are in the workplace, and how the background can actually influence who we are. I want to thank every one of you for your very rich and robust contribution to our discussion today. To our online participants, we want to say thank you also for the feedback we have been getting from you. It's been an intense one. It's been a long one. We are not able to take all of your questions, but I'm sure that if you listen, because I've looked through the questions, if you listen to the conversation that we have had on this platform again, you'll be able to find answers to your question. To our moderator, I want to say very, very big thank you to you for taking up this responsibility today. Thank you so much for always being there at the shortest call. To everyone, I want to say that we'll be here again by the special grace of God in the month of September 2026 with another juicy topic, something that will help us to improve on our workplace performance. Want to thank you for always being there. Want to thank you for believing in all that we do at the Administrators Hub. We look forward to having you again on this platform in the month of September. Thank you so much, Dr. Awiyomi. Thank you so much, Mr. Tuki. Thank you so much, Dr. Lyons. Thank you so much, Dr. Fashanu Adegboye. That's a mouthful. Thank you so much, Mr. Another mouthful, Mr. Victor Adisa. You see, when all those names come with hyphen, it's a mouthful. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. We look forward to seeing you again next month. I want to hand over now to the moderator for the next item on our agenda. Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is closing prayer, which will be said by our one and only Princess Adefunke Oyinloye.
Oh,
Thank you, ma'am.
okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Can I ask somebody else to do the closing prayer?
Maybe Dr. Mercy.
Well, I know that Dr. Lyons sometimes double. It's
Yes.
it's Mr. Toki still there. Are you still there, Mr. Luatoki? Oluwajamleju Toki? Are you still there? Okay. I know that Dr. Lyons sometimes double as chaplain in our university. So maybe we should ask her to take the opening prayer.
Okay, ma.
Oh, okay.
Can we do all the honor of doing the closing prayer for us, ma?
All right, thank you very much. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this impactful session. Thank you for the topic. Thank you for all the convener of the administrative hub and the moderator and even all the discussants. Thank you for what we've brought to bear this afternoon. Thank you because you will help all those who may be going through one form of toxicity or the other that may have been affected negatively, that you give them peace in their hearts, you give them peace in their minds. And for those who do not know it as wrong, Father, I pray that you help them as they seek for help. Father, you help them. And this shall be an impactful one. And even for those who will listen to this later, God, you help every one of us to be better people, to make the world better, to make Nigeria better, to make Africa better, to make the workplace a beautiful place for all of us to be. Father, we give you all the praise. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. That brings us to the end of the program completely. Thank you, ma, for coming